What do a beloved but defunct comic book publisher, a horror icon, a computer hacker, 4 hardcore comic collectors, an autographed near-mint copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, and this celebrated cartoonist have in common? Stay tuned, you're about to find out. From the 1960s to the 1980s, Gokey Comics was known for its wide variety of licensed properties and original comic characters. They stood out on the shelf because of their pulp-inspired painted covers and bold graphic design. Gokey's diverse line of titles included everything from television series to pulp heroes to Sunday funnies and Saturday morning cartoons. You would think that with this stable of superstar titles, Gokey's successful reign would continue for years to come. But following a movie adaptation of the 1980s remake of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Gokey faded away without much fanfare. So, Gokey languished in the back issue long boxes for years, before an unexpected chain of events brought new life to the sorely missed publisher and paved the way for their return. You may be asking, what does Gokey mean to me and how do I fit in this story? How about we continue this story in the Art Lab? I'm Scott Serkland, let's suit up. Here we are in the Art Lab, and on this channel we like to take the vintage stuff we love from the past, reverse engineer it, see how it works, and put our own unique spin on it. The legacy of Gokey Comics is no different. The publisher's back under new ownership and taking the blueprint for what made Gokey so great and reintroducing it to a modern audience. I had the pleasure of partnering with the newly formed Gokey team to create a limited edition variant cover and a special add-on for their latest title. So I'm gonna share my process and give you guys the inside scoop of how Gokey Comics was resurrected from the dead. Speaking of returning from the dead, I just received my copy of Boris Karloff's Gokey Mystery, the first title from the newly launched Gokey Comics. So this is Gokey's first title, and while the publisher had roots in sci-fi and horror, they weren't defined by it. Traditionally, Gokey had several funny animal titles, and who better to bring Saturday morning cartoon fun to Gokey than Jay Stevens, the creator of Discovery Kids' Tuttenstein, Cartoon Network's Secret Saturdays, and the Jet Cat animated shorts for Nickelodeon. His new book, Figgy Furthermore, The Spirit Guide Dog, currently has a Kickstarter running right now. I'll leave a link in the description. In addition to the comic series, there are tons of cool extras, a couple of which yours truly had a hand in creating, including this variant cover for issue 6 that Gokey reached out to me to create. I was told to take the characters and do whatever I wanted in my style, so I chose to use Jay's character designs and add a slight twist, creating versions that were inspired by Jay's art, but slightly off model. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Just how did the saga of the new Gokey Comics unfold? Well, it all started after the current Gokey CEO and avid comic collector Lance Linderman acquired his Holy Grail comic, a near-mint autographed copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Word got out around comic collector circles, and Lance received a call from noted computer hacker, comic book writer, and political satirist Robert Willis with a unique proposition. It seems Robert obtained the trademark for Gokey Comics and was interested in a little trade. The Gokey Comics legacy for a pristine copy of Eastman and Lair's autographed masterpiece. With aspirations of becoming more than just a comic book dealer, but somebody who can make significant impact in the comic industry from a creative standpoint, Lance accepted the deal. However, the price tag for the Gokey trademarks would be a little more than even one of the most sought-after comic collectibles. So, Lance called up 3 of his collector friends, Mike Dines, Adam Brooks, and Arnold Guerrero, to pony up the extra cash and become partners in the new Gokey endeavor. But there was a hitch. The Gokey purchase didn't include any of the classic titles, which by now were mostly licensed out to other publishers. So the team set out to rebuild their catalog from scratch. First up was to contact the Boris Karloff estate and reestablish a relationship with the horror icon. And you already know the result of that partnership. But to fill the void in the funny animal department, Gokey reached out to Jay Stevens, who was already in the process of paying homage to another classic comic book company, Harvey Comics, with his creepy cute horror comic Dwellings. Needless to say, Jay jumped at the chance. In fact, he said he would have been upset if Gokey didn't reach out to him. So, with a jolt of inspiration, Jay created Figgy Furthermore, the spirit guide dog, who's on a mission to rescue his troublemaking, accident-prone boy, how's he do it, from one perilous situation to another. In one such adventure, Howie falls down a manhole into the sewer below and proceeds to get sucked into a whirlpool. I was fortunate to be tasked to illustrate a variant cover for this issue. I love the whirlpool motif and wanted to homage the stylistic graphic design aesthetic of many of the classic Gokey comics. So I tapped into classic Gokey cover design using a composition of circular vignettes to feature each story in the book, as well as create a focal point for the image of Figgy as he's represented in the trade dress for each issue. To further inject my own personal style into the project, I wanted to infuse my love of vintage comic book ads and retro comic ephemera by creating a wraparound cover with an ad for a paper doll craft featuring Housie and Kitschy, another character who appears in the pages of the comic. Because Kitschy is a witch who creates magical witchcrafts that come to life with the help of her grandmother's enchanted craft basket, she seemed to be the perfect character to host this activity. With the digital pencils of the cover laid out in Clip Studio Paint, I'm going to begin digitally inking the spread. I've experimented with many drawing apps, and for my money, the brush engine in Clip Studio is the best I've come across. And while I love traditionally inking with a brush, I opted for digital inks in order to meet the comic's deadline. Now that I've completed the inks, I'm going to bring the art into Photoshop to begin coloring the cover. I'll start by laying down my flat colors first. Flat colors in place, I'll begin adding some shading. Many of the funny animal books based on popular cartoons adhered to only flat colors, but I noticed that Jay used a touch of shading, so I'll follow suit. Since Figgy is a ghost, he doesn't really have a solid outline, so I'll add a greenish blue color hold to mimic the look that Jay established. This was really fun, and I hope that Jay is happy with the final product. If you're subscribed to my mailing list, you'll receive templates for designing your own paper dolls via the link in my current newsletter, with future freebies being released every month. And if you sign up on my website, you'll also receive the free Comic Maker Starter Kit, packed with fonts, templates, word balloons, and additional assets to use in your creative projects. Creating a variant cover isn't the only reason Gokey reached out to me. After all, Gokey has a reputation for a unique vintage look and feel. And creating a vintage look and feel is kind of my thing. So why not tap yours truly to create an exclusive set of Wax Pack trading cards as an add-on for the Figgy Furthermore Kickstarter campaign. If you know me, you know I am a huge fan of wax packs, which were the method by which most trading cards and stickers were packaged up until the early 90s when the industry switched over to plastic and foil, which just don't have the appeal that you get from classic wax packs. I made every effort to capture the essence of these vintage throwbacks, from the limited color palette, off-register screen printed look, to the classic advertisement on the back. I'm super stoked about how these wax packs came out. They look and feel just like the packs I used to pick up from the local 7-Eleven back when I was a kid. If you're watching this video upon its original release, the Figgy Furthermore Kickstarter campaign is currently live, so check it out in the link in the description. While you're at it, hit like and subscribe to get notified of future retro recreations. And if you want a more in-depth look at how I create vintage style wax packs, you can click on this video right up here.
Figgy Furthermore, a brand new, old-school, all-ages comic adventure skillfully crafted in the grand Gokey Comics tradition. The relationship between a boy and his dog is sacred. Some may even say mystical. So when the unthinkable happens, does that magic disappear, or does it transform? At the heart of this enchanting narrative stands Figgy Furthermore, a spirited canine soul who, in a twist of fate, found himself lingering in the spectral realm, bound by an unbreakable devotion to his living companion. The strong-willed and often downright naughty 6-year-old How's He Do It?